Been a good, was like practice number 24 or so. We're obviously in game week, the second week of school practice. So, like where we are. I like, first and foremost, we're in, besides your normal bumps and bruises, we're in pretty good shape health-wise going into this first game. We'll work hard this week, stay off the ground to get all these guys on the bus to the game in one piece. It is, our goal has been to carry over the momentum from last year's last 5 conference games and improve on that. I think we've done that in a lot of aspects of our football team. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Can you elaborate some on this uncommon man thing that I've been reading about?
I just kind of came out the other day, but I was looking for a word. We had a chance to go see the movie the other day, to go see War Room. And one of the things that I walked out there with from a personal standpoint, I told the kids, I said, hey, it is all of us, that movie touches all in, different aspects. To me, challenged me not to be a lukewarm Christian, and that's what the theme of the movie was about. And, then we took that from a team aspect and said, how can we, let's don't be lukewarm teammates either. And, you can't just be hot one day and the next day just go through the motions. And so that was kind of what it was about, be uncommon, be special, be that great teammate that comes to the building every day and has great focus and mental and physical approach to that practice, and off the field as well in the classroom. So that just kind of came out, and maybe it's something we can grab a hold of. And but this is a fun group. When you got 24 seniors, we're talking about different challenges and different different things that are going on in kids' lives when they're 22, 23 years old. I mean, we talked to Jared in a few minutes. He's already graduated. He's in graduate school. He's planning on getting married in December. Those are different conversations than obviously than you have with an 18, 19-year-old freshman or redshirt freshman. Same thing with Nick. They're at different parts of their career. And if we can make sure that we channel that focus and that experience, when we get to OVC play, we've got to capitalize on that and give us a chance.
What surprised you the most coming out of these fall practices?
I don't know if there was that many surprises. I was pleased with the offensive line. I thought the first offensive line group made tremendous strides from the spring. Really tremendous strides. That first group as a whole, they may be better than the group that we had last year. Now, we don't have a Charles Sweden. Maybe there's not that all-conference guy. And Charles, I saw today, I think he's still with the Broncos. So maybe there's not that one individual, but that first 5, I was very pleased with that. You have I thought the group of running backs met my expectations as a group. Trent Garland was steady Eddie as usual. I thought that Devin Fair improved. Had a good camp. I thought Najee Ray did some good things. Jamie Bowe gives us a different change of pace back there as well. Got true freshmen starting on defense. That's something that kind of surprised me. We hadn't started a true freshman around here in several years. But you'll see Prather at that linebacker position. That's a guy that, since first day we put pads on, really has kind of jumped out as a guy that makes a lot of plays for us.
Getting ready to open up with another Division I opponent. I mean, are you kind of used to this now since it's so many years in a row?
You opening up with them. I guess I don't think about that too much, but you've played 14 FBS schools in 9 years, and after this you'll be 16, and you got 3 next year. So it's certainly a way of life around here. But our kids would. We know we have to do it for monetary reasons. We took 2 this year because of trying to finish the stadium. And that was part of the deal that we had to agree on to make that stay on schedule. So 4 SEC schools in 2 years. These guys, you can ask Nick and Jared, they'd much rather do this, play these type of caliber schools than load up and go to the fly north for 3 hours and play a school. These are schools that they followed since they were kids and see them on television each week, and it's a great experience, great memories.
Is it hard, the fact that you're opening up with Ole Miss, considering that there are a lot of still unknowns with this team, like you said, in the offensive line, trying to see them in a game situation, trying to see, it's hard to evaluate them.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you, if there's ever a good time, to play. We're going to be positive about it and say, hey, it's a good time to open up. They've made some changes in the summer in their schemes. We have too. Okay, so both teams will be, there'll be some unknowns until that end of that first quarter, into that first half. It's 11 a.m. in the morning, so we're going to approach it. We're going to be bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to go. To make sure that that's an advantage for us. So that's just the way we look at things around here. Look at things positive. What can we do to give ourselves an advantage? First game, hopefully that's our advantage. Early in the morning, we're going to look at it as our advantage. Looking at them on tape, that's certainly their advantage. I mean, they're very, very fast defense. I mean, they're first or second in the country in scoring defense, outstanding. The way the turnovers and the way they chase the football on their defense, so impressed. With their schemes and their players.
What do you look?
Go ahead.
What are you looking to see out of the team from that first game?
A little bit different from my expectations of Jared in this game compared to what it might have been 3 years ago. I mean, you're playing with a fifth-year senior quarterback. You expect. You expect minimal procedure issues. You expect to be able to handle crowd noise. You expect to get us in the right run plays. You expect to get us in the right protection. I mean, nobody's going to ever play a perfect game, but as Jared goes, mentally and physically will be how well we do on offense. I mean, he's we have tremendously high expectations that we put on him, and he has of himself. So. I have tremendous expectations for it. You want to get it down to where you don't beat yourself and it just comes, can you block and can you tackle? And you take away, since the first day I took the job here, we've always talked about beating the game. And beating the game has a formula of on offense, staying ahead of the chains, rights, when you're backed up, getting 2 first downs, and then when you do punt the ball, right, you flip the field. When you're in the red zone, you have to come out of there with points. When you're on defense, stopping them on first down, getting them to second long, third and long. I mean, there's a formula for beating the game. And if this is going to be the strength of our football team, is our experience with this big senior class, then this is a year to where we have to not just give that lip service. It actually has to be how we live every day, is beating the game. And then it gets down to, physically, how do you match up in certain situations? Can you break a tackle? Can you make a play in a 50-50 ball when you're one-on-one coverage? Can you make a tackle on defense when you're in open space, when they blocked everybody but the back and the safety are in the hole together? And then can we get the pass breakup or the interception in those 50-50 situations? As a coach, you hope that you recruit the coach well enough to where it gets down to that, where it's a talent situation, and I hope we're there.
Jason, I know you guys weren't happy with the way the season opener went last year. Have you changed anything preparation-wise, or will you change anything preparation-wise going into this opener?
No, really haven't. You go back and look at that game. It was, was it like 6 turnovers? 6 turnovers. That wasn't very good, and then we didn't tackle very well on defense, and so you didn't give yourself a chance. I mean, that's kind of, on defense, when you get lined up correctly, that's when we talk about beating the game. You got to get lined up correctly, and then beating the game, you have to take care of the football. When you throw the ball and you got pressure in your face, sometimes interceptions happen, but you can't, as a running back, just drop the ball on the ground. We did that last year.
You talked about how much Jared means his team mentally and physically. Obviously, experience is part of that, but how much have you done to sort of get him ready for even maybe more success in that role?
Right. Some things that, my job as a head coach, call plays on Saturday, but, is to handle the culture every day. And, I was just talking to the SEC Network a few minutes ago, and I told the story on Jared, and is that he's always been a guy that prepared. He's always studied and been, he may be the smartest player I've ever coached, okay? And very unselfish, but so competitive. So when you say, okay, here's 2 things I want you to work on this summer, Jared. One, I want you to improve moving in the pocket and making, vertical throws down the field, and post throws and things like that. He has such a, tremendous arm working on touch when he's got guys running away from him, okay, if you want to be, picky on something to find something to work on. And the next thing is, I want you to make our football team better besides just Monday through Friday on the practice field, the meeting room, and then on Saturdays. Okay, now that so where do you take that? Okay, I want you to have a bigger influence on our football team, outside the building. Okay, I want you to reach over certain lines that maybe I've never asked you to do before, and impact other people, and make them uncommon. Because I think he is uncommon himself. So and he's done that. And whether it be having a cookout at his apartment and other guys coming over, and being one of the guys and laughing and joking with him. Because sometimes when you're around that guy and he is so prepared, and you're one of those guys, you may shy, and you're a guy that's not, you may shy away from that guy, right? Because it makes you uncomfortable. Okay, well, we want him to hold guys accountable to it, but maybe you can reach other guys certain ways. Something that he did on his own this year. We have a talent show every year, and normally the MC of that talent show is usually the sarcastic wisecrack guy of the team. Last year it was Satterfield, and they're funny, and they kind of get to tell jokes throughout the in between acts, and I didn't even know he was going to do it. And I looked up, and Jared's the host. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to see how this goes. And he did a great job with it. But more importantly, I was excited about how his teammates responded to him being the host of the little talent show. And I think those are things that you want to see as the head coach, and we'll draw from that experience throughout the season.
This opening game, it's a big stadium, big crowd, a lot of noise. Tell me about how you approach that on the practice field.
Well, one, we played Mississippi State last year, and they were number one in the country, so you're 60-some thousand there. And we handled it pretty good. We really did, from get the signals on the sideline. So, we have music at practice every day, and even though we're in hardy ground, you can ask these guys, that music is pretty loud, and so we're used to being able to try to communicate with each other when you actually can't hear the volume out of your voice. So hadn't done anything in particular. You always got a solid snap count if you need it on offense. Defensively, these guys have to do a great job with their body language and their hand signals and communicating. Of course, it won't be as loud when they're on offense, so it's probably a little bit easier for our defensive guys, all right, than it is for our offensive guys. But once again, that's where you got a 23-year-old quarterback and been there, done that. Got a lot of experience at the receiver position. And matter of fact, we had a meeting yesterday, and we were trying to adjust some things on some signal situation, maybe make it easier for these guys as we go forward in that type of environment.
I know you talked a little bit last year about going down to Mississippi State, being a Mississippi guy yourself. I mean, kind of similar situation, kind of being part of the Ole Miss thing.
Yeah, excited about it. I mean, that's I've never coached a game in that stadium. Got an uncle who played there, so I've got a lot of family, that's coming up, and several of these guys, several guys on our team, or got some Mississippi connections, or whether it's our Memphis guys being very close. So it's exciting. We're actually going back there in 2000. Ole Miss in 2000 was it 17? So we got a return game then. So anytime we can drive 3 hours and play in that type of environment and still be back home on our beds that night, that's good for our program.
All right, guys, can you kind of talk about just being able to opening up the season in another big environment like y'all had the past couple of years?
It's exciting. We've all wanted to play in those stadiums since we started playing football, really, and whenever you get an opportunity to do that, it's really special. It's a special feeling to get to run out in those big stadiums and hear the crowd, rush, and all that.
How's your mindset going with y'all during that camp preparing to play this?
We really just focusing on ourselves. All you can do is make sure that you get better every day. You can't focus on what the other team's going to do. So if you make sure that you perfect your craft coming into the game, you really don't have to worry about what the other team's going to do, because you'll get your job done. If you get your job done, you have a better chance to win.
Like, what's the best way you feel like this defense has gotten better in the last couple of weeks?
We just come together as a unit, collectively. Like the linebackers, we have a couple of young linebackers on the outside, but as a whole defense and as a staff, the coaches, they brought the young linebackers up to speed to where they catch up to the rest of the defense. Because in the back end, we have a lot of returning players. We have we have pretty much everybody returning on defensive line, with the addition of Damani Taylor coming from Bethel. He had to sit out last year, and he's a key part to the line this year too. So defensively, I feel like we should be good to go. we're clicking on all cylinders right now, and everybody is what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody's up to speed on what we're trying to do going into the game.
Jared, what about the offense? How's your side gotten better in the last 2-3 weeks?
Well, we've had a couple offensive linemen out with infections, and but we've had some other guys step in, and they've gotten better. They're learning what to do, kind of throwing the fire type thing. But that wide receiver group is the smartest I've ever been around since I've been here. Running backs are solid. All of them are returning, minus Abu. They've all got a lot of experience. And then once the whole offensive line's in there, they work really well together. And they get all their checks, all their calls. They're smart guys.
Is there any way you guys feel like the mentality of the team has changed from maybe where it was last year?
On defense, I definitely do. We're attacking defense now, as to where last year we had a couple new parts in the defense, so we were kind of filling it out at the beginning. But this year, I feel like we're ready to go. We know what to expect. We know what to do. We're ready to play.
Offensively, our mindset is different. Like we want to go attack. We want to go score every chance we get, which is obvious. That's what everybody wants to do. But last year we didn't always do that. But now it wasn't always in our mindset. We're like, hey, let's try to do something. But now we want to go get it. We want to go get it every play.
Coach talked about earlier how you started off that Kentucky game last year with a lot of mistakes and wasn't necessarily happy with the performance that y'all had. How much has he kind of been harping on that and starting off with mistake-free football in such a big environment, playing a good team?
Taking care of the football will be big time, especially since last year we didn't. We've been real big of this spring and this summer so far over taking care of the football. Ball's gold, and we want the ball. We want to end every series with a kick. If that's a punt, field goal, kickoff, whatever, we want to end every series with a kick.
Defensively, trying to prevent the big plays like
Yeah,
Kentucky had last year.
Last year, defensive, we had a couple busts here and there during the game, and then we missed a couple tackles too. So we definitely harped on that this offseason. We've made sure that we got our assignments, alignments, and our keys right. We practice tackling just about every day at the beginning of practice, and we're ready. Like, when a performance like that sticks with you that long, you know you're ready to play and get right that wrong.
How used are you guys to playing in this environment now that you've played in these big stadiums over the past couple of years since you've been here? Is it kind of normal for you now to where you walk into it and you're not walking in with, big, wide open eyes, kind of in awe of the situation?
Yeah, I honestly love playing in those games. I like the big crowd. I like the atmosphere. It's fun. It's fun.
With me, transferring from Western Michigan, my first game as a collegiate athlete was at the Big House with Michigan. So the big crowd, all that is not surprising to me anymore. And player-wise, is how I was talking to some of the guys the other day. How I look at it, they're the same as us. Physically, they might just be a little bigger. They peaked a little before we did, but once you get out on the field, it's man versus man. You do your job, you win, fight that battle every play, and you make him beat you every play if he does.
Jared, you've taken a lot of snaps the last couple of years, but kind of talk about the transition to being the guy and taking that ownership role that you have to have, being a fifth-year guy, being your quarterback, and knowing you have the reins in your hands.
It's not any different. I don't approach it any differently. With Dylan last 2 years, I knew that he was gonna play, but I knew I had to be prepared to play as well. And now I know I still have to be prepared to play no matter what. And Troy's come in from Florida State, and he's a good player too. And I know if I mess up, he can come in and play just as well as I am, or even better. And so I know I still have to prepare. I have to do everything that I need to do to get our team rolling and get our team to the win.
Jason mentioned how much he's asked of you, on the field and off the field, kind of being a leader on this team. Just in this offseason, was that something you were immediately comfortable with, or did it kind of take a little bit of time? How was that for you?
I really had to not talk myself into it, but I really had to do it. like I had to make myself do it. Yeah, I've always been more of an example type person, set by example, not really talk. But now the coach asked me to talk, and I'm doing everything I can to do that. I had a bunch of cookouts this summer with a bunch of the guys, and that wasn't easy at first, but then the more I did, the easier it got. And I feel more comfortable being more vocal.
Has that fed off to the other guys on the team, a lot of the other guys?
I think it has. I think a bunch of guys see that I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, trying to do something different, and some other guys are doing the same.
So their maturity is spiking a little bit quicker than
Yes.
Nick, you had a pretty good running mate to your side last year in Tony, but this year you've said to me that you want to be the quarterback of the defense. How's been that transition for you?
That transition's been fairly good for me because last year I played a little bit, and like you said, I played with Tony Bell, Devontae Barnett, Diallo Jackson, and I kind of took from them what it takes to be the quarterback of the defense. You know, Tony was a 4-year player here, and I learned from him and brought some things from my other school that some linebackers up there taught me. So it hasn't been that hard at all. Plus, with the addition of Kevin Prather on the outside, it's been fairly easy too because he's pretty much another version of Tony Bell. And with Caleb Counts on the other side, he knows the defense well. This is his 4th year in the program, and he's like another quarterback on the other side of me. So it's been a good transition.
What have you seen from Prather? I mean, as a freshman, obviously he's done some things to stand out to Jason. What do you think the coaches are seeing to have him in that spot so young?
He has a good football IQ. He has good knowledge of the game. He's physical at the point of attack. He's fast. He reads his keys and he hits the gap pretty much. He strains his body every play to do his job and get in his gap and make the plays that he can make.
What tells you that he's ready as a freshman to handle, whatever you guys are going to see this year?
I know with me coming in my freshman year, I was a little bit shell-shocked, a little slow picking up what was going on. But with him, it just came natural to him. He stepped right in first day, even without pads. Without pads, he was moving fast, but when we put on the pads, usually guys slow down as young guys. He kept the same speed, the same physicality as the older guys, and he never made anybody question that he could play.
Coach talked about the importance of the first 3 games of the season. What do you guys want to learn about this team, or what do you guys wanting to see out of your team in these first couple of games before y'all get into the conference schedule?
With the first game, I'm just anxious to see how they respond to being in that kind of environment, playing against talent like Ole Miss has, because we all know they're very talented. So I want to see how the team responds to that, and then come back with the game after that against Bethel. I want to see if people can keep their focus that we're playing a smaller level school and not drop off anything with the intensity, the focus, any of that. And at Jacksonville State, there's nothing to be said about that. That's the first conference game. We got to buckle up and get ready to play, no matter what happens in the first 2 games.
I agree with Nick. We definitely, with Ole Miss, we need to play to our potential, not be scared of the environment. And it's just more people. It's nothing different. It's football. Football's football. And then with Bethel, we need to play to our potential. Don't play down to your competition. And then Jacksonville State, we have to fix that wrong from last year. And that's what we're going to do.